I'd like to add another dimension to our conversation. We can continue talking about the minimum wage, although, as I said earlier in the second half of my rant in the first hour, I really see this battle for the minimum wage not exclusively as being about lifting 27 million people out of poverty, giving 33 million people who work for the minimum wage a raise. I see this, it's not just that moral issue. It's not just the issue that big corporations and small companies are being subsidized by your tax dollars and mine because their minimum wage workers are so poor because they're only working for the minimum wage that they qualify for food stamps and housing assistance and Medicaid, things that they might be able to pay for themselves if they got a raise to $15 an hour. I'm not making... although that's a legitimate argument, I don't think that's the biggest argument either. I think the biggest argument is that if the Democratic Party can't get something friggin' simple like a minimum wage increase done, then Americans are going to give up on the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party has to accomplish things. Now, the Republican Party for 40 years, since the beginning of austerity economics, of neoliberal economics, of what we refer to as Reagan economics or trickle-down economics, the Republican Party for 40 years has essentially refused to do anything for the American people, particularly American working people, and in fact actively worked against their interests. They have raised taxes on working people repeatedly. Reagan did it 18 times. He doubled the payroll tax. George W. Bush did it. George Herbert Walker Bush did it. All of them, and Donald Trump did it. In fact, your taxes are going up this year. If you make less than $75,000 a year, your taxes will go up this year. They will go up next year. They will go up the year after. They will go up every single year for the next 9 years, because that was built into Donald Trump's tax break for billionaires in order to keep the overall price tag below $1.5 trillion. They looked at this over a decade rather than just a one-year period when they were scoring the bill. And so, Republicans have consistently raised taxes on working people while lowering taxes on billionaires and corporations. Corporations are now paying 21% income tax. They were paying 33% income tax under Obama. 35% on income tax under Obama, 35% under Bush, 35% under Clinton, 35% under H.W. Bush, 34% under Reagan, 46% under Carter. This was the corporate income tax. 46% under Carter, 48% under Jerry Ford, 48% under Richard Nixon. Now, again, corporations only pay this tax when they show a profit. And it is a progressive tax. It's a graduated tax. So as their profits go up, their tax brackets go up until they eventually hit this top bracket. Under Nixon, it was 48% for corporations. Under Johnson, LBJ, it was 52%. Under JFK, it was 52%. Under Eisenhower, it was 52%. In fact, during the Eisenhower administration, corporations paying income taxes accounted for 1/3 of all federal government income. Now it's 6%. So the GOP has done everything they can to help these big corporations, and they have absolutely screwed working people in America. And the only things they can point to where they can say, hey, we're here for you, is really what they're saying is, we're here for you, white people. We have suppressed, the Republicans are saying, the black vote. We have suppressed the elderly vote. We have suppressed the young vote. We have made it harder for women to get abortions. In fact, in some states, there aren't even abortion providers any longer. We have made it easier for people to get guns. We, the Republican Party, have brought you an epidemic of school shootings. But, the Small Penis Gun Club is real happy with that. All the things that the Republicans claim that they have done for us. We have given you more liberty. You no longer have to submit to government health insurance. Now you can just die with no health insurance. I mean, I literally, on this program, for the, 18 years that I've been doing this show, I have had this contest. Anybody who can name one policy proposed by Republicans, introduced into both houses of Congress by Republicans, by majority of Republicans, and signed into law by a Republican president, one policy since 1980, in the last 40 years, that principally benefits the American working class, I will send you an autographed copy of whatever one of my books you want. And some of them are actually collector's items. Some of the first editions. I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. The Republican Party has done nothing except on the so-called social issues. They've made it easier for fanatic right-wing white Protestant evangelicals to say no to gay couples. We will not bake a cake for your wedding. These are their big accomplishments. So, I think I did a reasonable job of making that argument in the first hour. Here in the second hour, I'd like to expand on this. I'd like to make a second argument. And that is that I am of the opinion that it is time to put the Republican Party in general, certainly the leadership of the Republican Party, on the terror watch list. No American political party should ever have terrorists within its ranks. Now, the simple fact of the matter is that American political parties have always had terrorists within their ranks. Both parties, the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists, the Federalists, the Democratic Republicans, the Whigs and the Federalists, the Democratic Party, the Democratic Republican Party, and the Whigs, all the way up until 1865, particularly in the South, had slave owners in their party, terrorists. Post-Civil War, from 1865 until 1965, for 100 years, the Democratic Party welcomed terrorists into its ranks. We had the Klan. The Klan is a domestic terror organization. They exist to terrorize black people. And you had Klan members, Klan grand wizards elevated to the United States Senate. You had one from West Virginia, Robert Byrd. Now he changed his stripes and he apologized and started trying to make up for it later in his life. But hey, you had a grand dragon for the Klan in Congress. So the Democratic Party prior to the 60s welcomed terrorists into its ranks. Now, after Lyndon Johnson's presidency, after the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, the Democratic Party largely purged itself of terrorists. And the Republican Party, Richard Nixon came in 68 with his so-called Southern strategy and said, hey, you guys, come on over. Donald Trump stepped up on a Nazi rune-themed stage in Florida this weekend. Did you catch this? That same Nazi rune that was carried into the Capitol by some of Trump's followers. Now, a few Republicans like Liz Cheney and Mitt Romney have actually openly called out Trump's lurch toward terrorism and fascism.